Yes, people, it's not dragging months out of bed situation today. It's literally, well, it's going to be us two for about 5 minutes. Deji should be joining in any moment. And then also, if Don doesn't show up, yeah, everyone needs to get on to him. It's as simple as that, innit? He showed up last night, to be fair, but we want the juice. We want all the credentials. You know, there's a bit to talk about. I've only got about 10 minutes myself, so Monts and Deji will be talking in depth. And if Don comes along, he comes along. But yeah, man, I feel like there's quite a bit to talk about. It's a shame that I can't get my 2 pence on certain situations because I won't be here. I have to go. But yeah, man, Monts, big win yesterday. Might as well get straight into it. You know, like you're over the moon. Obviously, you got a vendetta against Chelsea. If you heard your stream last night, and you admitted it. It is what it is. It's just Chelsea are absolutely in the mud, and it's not. You know what? It's not like none of us even expected this, anyways. Do you get what I mean? Like, in my opinion.
Yeah. I mean, if we're being objective, before I start being all animated, if we're being objective, I think we have to keep it a buck. Like, Chelsea have showed that they can go toe-to-toe with the big boys in the Premier League. It's nothing like that's nothing new. So I expected more of the same. Someone probably argue the fact that at home they're better against the big teams than away is obviously where they have their frailties, but I just thought I didn't think Pop should be that done to roll up to Anfield with those tactics. Do you know what I'm saying? I just didn't think, like, bro, come on, like, even with United, you guys had no style of play. Even you guys turned up with a style of play at Anfield. You know what I'm saying? You guys turned up without a game plan. What was the game plan for Chelsea? You couldn't tell me. You just couldn't tell me. And I have to reiterate, I'm now just tired. I'm sick and tired of Chelsea being shit, being the norm now. Like, it's almost acceptable from Chelsea to be as shit as they are and spend as much as they do, and everyone just be like, yeah, well, that's just kind of Chelsea now, isn't it? Like, they've normalized overspending, flop 80 million plus signings, and it being okay for them to either be average or lowering the bar for them, for those players, to then make it seem like it's okay what they're doing. Do you know what I'm saying? It's just not all right. Like the Mudriks, the Fofanas, you know, those type of guys, the Enzos, the Caicedos. No one can go and sign them. You can't, like, when you look at the other big money signings, Kaz, the Hoylands, the Antonys, the Pepes, the Sanchos, you think, and you heard me yesterday, you think those guys, you think the excuses that Chelsea fans are making for their big money signings, you think United were able to use those excuses? You think we were able to use those excuses for Nunes?
I thought we got a good point. I mean, I'll take the point at Anfield. Anyone will take a point at Anfield, isn't it, Dej?
Yeah.
But anyone will take a point at Anfield. Yeah, I mean, obviously, to get a point at Anfield is respectable. Do you know what I mean? But I kind of agree. I agree with Monts. I mean, for me, this is why I talk about. People always like to remind us about the history and blah blah blah. But also, you've got to have a space where you deal in the now. Chelsea just isn't that club. To go to Anfield and to get rolled over the way they got rolled over is an absolute disgrace. Pochettino, and there's no excuse for it, because we talk about, maybe it's his first season, he's got inherited players, rare. Postecoglou is inherited players. Unai Emery is inherited players. De Zerbi inherited players at Brighton. If you're a good manager, you find a system with the players that you got. That's how it works. Until you're able to bring them in and then you flex your muscle. But you work with what you got and you develop a system around them. And Pochettino, I have to say, he hasn't done that. I don't know why. I'm disappointed as a Spurs fan with the legacy he left at Spurs. I will always have a soft spot for Pochettino. But on the other hand, for someone who loves the game, it's a disgrace what he's doing. He deserves to be gone, in my opinion. He deserves to be gone. And also, it's official now that Chelsea is fully dusty. Like, we knew they were dusty, but I don't think... After this stream, I won't be talking about Chelsea for the rest of the season. That's it. That's the level of respect that I can give them. No Chelsea fan can troll. No Chelsea fan can chat. Your team is crap. Whether you bought players or not, I don't give a damn about how much you spent. Even if you spent 100 mil, that club should not be suffering or should not be producing those performances with those players. Either those players aren't good enough, the manager's not good enough, or the whole thing toxic. But for me, with the way that Chelsea fans, with Don especially, like to go around shaking their bum violently about what they've done in the past with daddy's money, it's good that this is happening to them. Be gone, get out our face, because Chelsea are no longer legit.
Yeah, but
I gotta say this, innit? I didn't really get to say much on Chelsea yesterday, and it's nothing that I haven't said before either, right? Let's be honest. None of us expected Chelsea to get any win, 3 points at Anfield. Yeah, it's just the naivety the way they played yesterday. Like, even putting Cole Palmer in the 9, I didn't think that. I thought they're just gonna play Broja, like a guy that actually, I know he's not the greatest, but you'd definitely be more of a handful in it than Cole Palmer. Like, when it comes to Cole Palmer down the middle, I think he's better off the right, and I think it's quite evident to see that he's better off the right. I think the only thing that Chelsea can get a bit of a positive from is when Nkunku came on the pitch, they looked a bit, and Chukwuemeka, they looked a little bit more frightening. Do you know what I mean? So if there's a positive there, that's the only positive. But other than that, you got Thiago Silva and Badiashile flipping arguing. Do you get what I'm saying?
Bad Shelly.
Yeah, Disasi is not a right back. You know, Chilwell is a bum. Like, do you know what I mean? I suppose, granted, it's like a second or third game, you know, and then other than that, I can't really see much for them. Like, how many excuses do we have to provide? Do you know what I mean? Like, bro, I can't lie. Mont said this yesterday, and I've said it before, innit? Yeah, and I'm trying to be objective for you fans. I'm trying not to actually hurt Chelsea fans' feelings too much and saying you're being like disingenuous or you're not being credible enough. But brother, you've made 2 record signings, and it is dog shit, and it doesn't get spoken about enough. Yeah, and it always comes back down to it. Yeah, and it always will. This is the facts. Yeah, it always comes back down to you spent 115 million on Caicedo, and I bigged him up, by the way. I think he's had a steady Eddie performance for the last few games. But when it comes to these sort of matches, this is where you need to be the difference. That's why you've been bought to make the difference. Whether it's Poch's tactics or not, he didn't stand out. And to be fair, I don't know where he deployed with Enzo. Caicedo didn't get help either. Do you know what I mean? Like, Caicedo actually has been okay, and I think it's time to build off. But see that Enzo brother, yeah? That porcupine, yeah, is not good enough.
You think so?
He's not
Wait,
good
that
enough.
went over my head.
Bro, you think so?
I
don't think Enzo's that bad.
He had to try Sado and then Zonzi. Like, bro, he's not good enough. Look, I rate him as a footballer. Look, I'm gonna say it. I'd rate him as a footballer. But how many excuses? I had this as a Man United fan with Pogba, by the way. Pogba is not look, let me get ready. Pogba is not an attacking mid. He's not a 10. He's a guy that needs to play face to goal, which is fair enough. Cool, move him there. No, Pogba's a deep line playmaker. No, Pogba's a 6. No, Pogba needs to play in a 3-man midfield. No, Pogba is better at this position and that position.
Don't forget the free roam. No, he likes a free roam.
Yeah, he likes the free roam. The next one, Pogba's better as a wing back, whatever the hell that was at that time. This is what it is with Enzo. Why are you not controlling the game? Why are you not taking it by the scruff of the neck, regardless? You know, actually on the field, yeah, exactly. He's a hedgehog blood. Like, the fact is, yeah, no matter what happens, sometimes tactics go out the window on the pitch. They don't always listen to the manager. Yeah. And I rated Enzo. I wanted Enzo. And I'm thinking, like, how many players do you need to unlock this dude? Now I'm hearing that he's a 6 and he should be a deep line type playmaker like Pirlo. Make up your damn minds. Because I don't understand it. That could work. Maybe Pochettino is maybe he's getting it wrong. Maybe he's not profiling the players. Maybe the club ain't profiling the players. But the whole point is, is that it doesn't get spoken about enough, because if it's any other team, you're getting slaughtered. And that's a fact. Darwin Núñez don't even cost 100 million, but he gets called 100 million. He still has more than double GA this season. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, and he still got an assist yesterday. You know, Anthony, Sancho don't cost 100 million, but they get more scrutiny than these players. Why? I'm just saying, Declan Rice is over 100 million pounds, and that's the guy that's probably right now you could say has put in some bad boy performances this season and some steady Eddie and some okay games and not so great. That's what you call worth, because you know what, and we call that English tax. There's no English tax on Enzo. Last time I checked,
but the right word, guys. When I say what the right word is with Declan Rice, impact. Say what you want to say about Declan Rice. When Arsenal had that dodgy 5-game period, but it's all about impact. And when Declan Rice stepped onto the pitch for Arsenal, there was an instant change. You saw the impact straight away. What change to Chelsea's midfield have you seen since Caicedo signed? I've seen no difference since Jorginho was there. No, in fact, I'd go as far as say maybe again you can argue because of tactics, but the J5 Clover midfield was better than what I'm seeing now.
Yeah, no, I hear it. You know what the maddest thing is? I see Chelsea. Look, I can see it in there. Yeah, is what about the penalties? What about them, man? Darwin Núñez hit the post or the woodwork about 4 times. They missed a penalty. They had about 20, just under 30 goal attempts. You know, Petrovic saved your asses. By the way, he's a good goalkeeper in my opinion. He didn't deserve that yesterday, but he got hammered. Right, he got smashed. Right, and it's just little bits and bobs like that. The thing is, the penalties could have changed the whole game, but I still think you lose. It's Anfield. How many times have we seen this story? Many times, and that's why I can't back the penalty decisions. Even though I do think both of them were stone cold penalties, you still lost anyways. Even if you did get both of them, who said you scored them? That's all I'm trying to say there. But I got a dip anyways. So Deji, make sure you lay into Chelsea, and then obviously you can talk about Spurs, and then obviously
yeah. I mean, I was just gonna say that I agree with Cass. Do you know what I mean? I agree with Cass. I think Chelsea was so poor, even if they scored 3. Let's be real, Liverpool should have scored 7 goals yesterday.
Yeah.
Neatly 7. I think people are kind of missing that factor. Do you get me? And probably even more than that. So it easily could have got 7-9 goals. So let's call it 9-2. Okay, there you go. 9-2. It's still 9-2. Yeah, look, Chelsea are poor, man. It's really poor, but I feel like they had this coming. You know, for me, over the years, the way they were shaking their bum violently for their club, with the kind of favoritism that they've had and the amount of money behind them, they really thought they were going to buy their way to success. And unfortunately, it's not happened. And I think that's why this is even more of a bigger deal, because they've spent so much and this is happening. Because usually when you spend money, that should be the answer. That should be your golden ticket to the top 4. That should be your fast track to success. And it's just not happening at Chelsea. And it's because they've just got it completely wrong. And sometimes you have to build from the ground up. And sometimes you just got to do the good old fashioned thing, work for it. But Chelsea never deserved it in the first place. And that's why they are where they are. And I don't feel sorry for them.
Do you think there's any way back for them going forward? Or do you
Enzo said that Chelsea spent for the future. Yeah, but even if you spent for the future, you would see signs now. We should be able to see signs now. I don't see that.
Yeah,
Chelsea
there's not enough of a sample size to tell me that, like, oh, right, this is the base. So if this gets better, do you know what? They leave him with something. And listen, they could beat Liverpool. They could go and beat us in the Carabao Cup final. But if we're going about performances and promising prospects, I don't really see a direction as to where they're going. Are they going to be more of a possession-based team, or are they going for more transition? I don't know which one they're going for. I don't know which one the manager's going to stick with. I don't know if half of these players are even going to be here. Simply because, you know, players could stink up the gaff so bad, the manager can go, you know what? I don't know. I don't even know if the manager's going to be here. I don't know even if the manager's going to be here. How about that?
Yeah.
I don't even know if the players know if the manager's still going to be here. And you know what happens when the players start doubting if the manager's going to be here? That means, boom, whoever's the next manager that comes in, Are they are they going to fancy me as a starter?
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying.
I agree. Look, the issue that Chelsea have is a similar issue to what Man United have. And I know people are not going to like what I have to say, but it is the truth. When you look at the Man United team, individually, these are great players. In fact, some of them are even legends, but it's not a great fit. You can see that it just looks clunky. I dare say, even though these Chelsea players are young and they're ballers in their own right, it's not a great fit. These players don't fit. So that's why I'm not going to take shots at any of the players. I'm not going to take shots at Caicedo. I'm not going to take shots at Enzo. You're playing in the best league. You're playing in the best league in world football. And maybe Enzo and Caicedo ain't a good fit. In fact, the whole team ain't a good fit. And I think the biggest problem that I find is that how can Chelsea, who's meant to be a big six, and this is no disrespect to Conor Gallagher, how are you building a team around Conor Gallagher?
Bro, your talisman is Cole Palmer. And again, I rate Cole. I think we all can easily say as rival fans, we all can acknowledge that Cole Palmer is actually a good player, a lot better than
he's a good player, but
why is he your talisman? You're a top team in the Prem. Look at the talismans of all the top teams. Liverpool have Salah. Arsenal have Saka. Spurs have Kane, now have Son. You see what I'm saying? You can throw Madison in there. You can throw Van Dijk in there. You can throw Alisson in there. Man United, like it or not, their talisman, Rashford, he's stinking now, but went back to 30 last season. That's 30. So you've seen a man do something. Like Fernandes, when he first stepped in, was their talisman. He was breaking records. And I'm not like saying that the Fernandes is amazing or Rashford's amazing, but you've seen like there's money in the bank there, innit? There's money in the bank there. Like you can go with City, most of their team are talismans, to be honest, but KDB, Haaland, we're talking that kind of ilk. Who have I missed in the top six? I've missed someone else. Arsenal, Tottenham, Liverpool, Chelsea. Yeah, I've pretty much given all of them. So, bro, like for me, if your talisman is Cole Palmer, it just like there, come on, bro, your top six. Look at everyone else's talisman. If Cole Palmer is the best attacker in your team, best player in your team, sorry, there's an issue. Yeah. There's a big problem at hand. A big problem. You know what I'm saying?
I agree.
Cole Palmer's your talisman, but you spent 80 on Mudryk. You have Jackson, who, for me, anyway. You have Madueke, where I don't know if he stays at the club. And then, of course, you're looking at Raheem Sterling, who's a senior winger, Pep's second highest goal scorer of his tenure at Man City. Big boy money in the bank. And Cole Palmer is still your best attacker. Big problems. Big problems.
It is. I agree, man. I agree.
And I understand why Chelsea are going to big up Palmer to the extent that he gets his shout outs, because it's like when your team's not doing well, any positive you have to like, it's like a moth. You're like attracted to the light and you have to make it seem a lot brighter than it is. So like when Liverpool were going through their really bad phase, whether that was under Hudson or when Rodgers was after the Gerrard slip, you had to hang on to Sterling and Coutinho because they were the two guys that were doing it, when everyone else was kind of bumming it off. Those were the two guys where it was, you go, oh yeah, well, Coutinho's the best cam in the league. Oh, Sterling's the best prospect in the league. So, that's fine for us, even though we're sitting seventh. Like, do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I've been there when that's what you got to do,
No, I agree. Yeah.
But the difference is it's not on £1 million budget. There's no millions in there. So I feel like it's not fair on Cole Palmer. He's handled the pressure well, but when your talisman's Cole Palmer and your big money signings are mediocre.
But he wasn't even bought to be the talisman. He was just bought as a good player. He was bought to be a squad player, help us out. He was never meant to be the main guy. That was not the intention. But he's become the main guy because things are so poor.
And you're looking at the £200 million signings that they got in the middle of the park. And I look at Enzo Fernandez, and again, it's excuse after excuse after excuse. Where does he play? For me, the more explanations you have to make about a player, that says more about how good he is than what you're actually explaining in order to make him seem like he is worth what you've got him for.
Yeah,
no,
fair.
You don't need to, you don't make excuses for bad man ballers. You don't. Yeah. They don't need a lot of excuses. Do you know what I'm saying?
The only thing I will say though is that if a manager is playing a system that is dusty, then it can also make you look bad, especially because Pochettino has done some crazy things with the way he's using the personnel. That don't help nobody when the instability on the pitch. Do you get me? You're playing people out of position.
I still say that a lot of teams will take Caicedo. A lot of top teams will take Caicedo and Enzo. Not together, obviously, but they'll take them separately, respectively. But, you know, even if a system isn't the system that you want to, you know, it's not maybe tailored to you, there's still basic fundamentals that you need to excel. And I'm not talking about have your fundamentals. Most ballers in the Prem have their fundamentals. The best league in the world. Well, up there with one of the best leagues in the world. So everyone's going to have their fundamentals. Enzo has the dribbling. He can pass the ball. His position is fine at times, but it's not good enough to not stand out amongst a bad bunch. If you can't stand out, because this Chelsea team is bad, but you should still be able to stand out. That's what I want to see.
Yeah, no, fair. That's fair.
Bro, you know what? These men are dusty, but he does his thing. Bring me my man, innit? Bring me him. We'll turn him into something. You know what I'm saying? We'll turn him into something.
That's fair.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm not gonna keep singling out the Mudriks, the big investments. But unfortunately, when you have a big price tag, Dej, we can't keep making it okay to be average.
Yeah, no, that's true.
Because it wouldn't be allowed at Liverpool. It wouldn't be allowed at Spurs. It wouldn't be allowed at Arsenal. It wouldn't be allowed at Man United, and it wouldn't be allowed at Man City. We couldn't get away with these excuses to normalize big money signings being as if you've spent 10 million on them, because they look like some of them look like 10 million pounds. Mudryk looks like a winger that you grabbed for about 5 million and you don't, and it's a loan, and you don't know if the loan's even going to last or not. That's the type of signing.
But that's not Mudryk. That's not Mudryk's fault though.
It's not Mudryk's fault. It's not Mudryk's fault.
They decided to overpay.
Bro, even if Mudryk was signed for 40 million, I'd still be saying, right, this guy's crap. Like, even for 40 mil, that's half his price. Half his price. He worth half the price. Has he recouped half of that money? Just in quality that when you've watched him? Not really. When I look at Caicedo, I can, like, how about this? McAllister has looked better than Caicedo in DM, and he's not a DM. Kamara at Villa is looking better than Caicedo at DM, and he's not a DM. Well, and he's more of a, like, same kind of build as Caicedo, to be fair. He can play the 8 and play the 6. Douglas Luiz, better than Caicedo. Declan Rice, better than Caicedo. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's, like, I can name 4 or 5 DMs, maybe even 6, 7. If I sat there and thought about it, I reckon I could name 6 or 7 DMs better than Caicedo this year.
No, you can.
So if I spend 100, so here's my question to the chat. Here's my question to you, Dej, and here's my question to the chat.
Yeah.
If I get my wallet out and I spend 100 million on a player, doesn't matter where he plays, I've booked at 100 million on a player. Does he need to then go and be at least top 3 in his position in the league? Not in the world. Not in the world. In the league. After 6 months, should you be seeing signs at least of him being top 3 players in the league in his position after investing 100 million?
Yeah, 100 mil. Because when you're spending 100 mil, you're buying ready-made. That's the point of spending that kind of money. You're not buying potential. You're buying somebody that is cooked and knows what to do. So yes, you should expect them to be in the top 3. Yeah, obviously in this league it's tough with Man City, Liverpool, and but
because you have to earn. You're not just 100 mil for no reason. You have to. I'm not saying 80 mil. I'm not saying 80 mil because
100. If you're 100 mil, you're certified.
Yeah,
100 mil, you're certified.
yeah, you're a bad man. You've got the label bad man. You got bad man on your back. You're a bad boy.
But there is a but though.
Yeah, there is
a but. And the but is Chelsea did a Man United where they started overpaying for average players. So the question really should be, was the players that they bought for that kind of money even worth it in the first place? We were all saying during the Mudryk time, that's why Arsenal turned away. Arsenal were like, this brother is not 100 mil. We'll spend 80 for him, but we're not going to spend 100. Yeah? And Caicedo, that's why Liverpool pulled out, I swear, because you weren't willing to go that high. You know, you weren't willing to spend. So for me, it's Chelsea overpaid for... I mean, you were going to overpay yourselves.
For Enzo, I believe Chelsea overpaid because they got him in January. So for Enzo, I believe he was probably about 60 mil. Enzo was definitely an overpayment, yeah, and hype at the time, yeah. But you see Caicedo, the reason I'm not having that is because man had money in the bank for last season. He had serious money in the bank, yeah. And people can talk about we bought for potential because that is an argument. Buying for potential, by the way, that's an argument. Buying for potential and for the future, and it's it being investment in an investment. But when we looked at Caicedo, Dej, that was. Do you think we bought Caicedo for potential? Or do you think we bought Caicedo to go and win us the league?
You bought
to be the final piece of the puzzle. Which was what was Caicedo? What was Caicedo the aim for Liverpool? To come in and help us get top 4, or to go and move us from?
You're going to win the league. You were going to win the league with him,
right? When you guys saw us put in that bid, Dej, did you think, oh my days, Liverpool are going to go back to challenge? They're going to go back to challenging.
Bro, I thought it was a wrap. I thought it's going to be a 2-horse race like it's been for the last 5 years.
That is my point exactly. That's the difference. That's the expectation of £100 million signing in the position. Declan Rice and Caicedo were in like the same argument. Remember, it was the Rice Caicedo thing last season. It was that was the argument, and they both cost obviously over 100 million, right? Because respectively, those were the guys. So that's why I don't want to kind of hear like, oh, it wasn't an overpayment because Rice and Caicedo were thought of to be the same level. So if Rice and Caicedo were the same level, then how can man be overpaying? Arsenal haven't overpaid for Rice. Chelsea are now, it looks like they've overpaid for Caicedo because he's not performing to the same level that Rice is. It just looks that way. It's easier to say we overpaid. It's easier to say, oh, it's for potential only. It's easy to say that, but that's why I said that the Chelsea, you said it at the start of the stream, you said it perfectly. The Chelsea of today, they're not that club no more. Because look at Liverpool, we can't look at the same player and we can't go, yeah, we want this player to win the league. And they go and get that player and go, we brought him in for potential years to come and for, we'll do the best we can and see where it takes us. And he can kind of put in mediocre performances and that'll be okay. It's a difference in expectation. I'm not saying he won't come good. Even with all my criticism, I think he will come good. I think he needs a different manager at the club. I think he needs to maybe he won't be able to move club because that is a death row contract. He signed to could have been records of Drewski and them, man. He's done out here. He's staying at Chelsea, innit? You know what I'm saying? He's staying at Chelsea. But I think that similar to Basuma, I think with the Zerbi players, they're not very adept to different systems. I think if you look at the Zerbi ball and Ange ball, I'm not talking about the intensity, but if you look at the football that's played, there are actually similarities in the triangles that get created in the build-up of play. It's very similar triangles with the keeper and the 2 centre-backs and the inverted wing-backs. So when I look at Basuma and how he struggled under Conte, and then I look at Basuma now,
exactly.
And where the second the triangles become available, he's one of the best ball receivers in the league. I don't care if he's got red cards. He can be a thug, but he's one of the best ball receivers in the league.
Yeah, he is 100%.
Carriers, in my opinion, probably the second. He's press resistant to a T. You know what I'm saying? I look at McAllister, and when Liverpool play, we've obviously changed a little bit the way we play. We're still very robust, but McAllister has made the sixth position where it doesn't have to always be rough and tough. He'll pop his triangles. It'll be more of a ball playing midfield at times with Liverpool. He'll pop his triangles. You know, not quite the way that Ange and De Zerbi do it, where it's really pleasing on the eye, but you still see, you saw today, he'll get the ball, pop it off, fast break. Get the ball, pop it off, fast break. Whereas like a more of a destroyer DM, Fabinho is different. He could do that and be a destroyer, but you get it. Some destroyer DMs can't distribute that quick enough to go for the fast break and for the transition. So I think
you got that from Barca. Because when I see the way that the triangles are building, there's a little Xavi in there in McAllister. You don't need to get into the rough and tumble, and that's what the mistake a lot of managers make. Actually, it's about moving the ball, moving it quickly, and I think he's actually done a great job. People keep going on about Liverpool not having a number 6. Maybe it was deliberate. I know you wanted to get a number 6, but actually you found the system with the players that you brought in that worked. So I don't even want to overhype the number 6 role. I think McAllister's also, I agree with Sean, he's press resistant. He's learned that, and he's now popping it, and it's actually the reason why you guys are doing launching these kind of onslaughts, because that's really what it is. Liverpool leash onslaughts.
Yeah,
I don't think you'd go for a Caicedo now. Maybe it slows down your game.
I think it does slow us down a little bit, but I feel like even though Liverpool are where they are and we're as good as we are, I still look defensively and still sometimes think, oh, you could. I think our individual centre backs are that good, and our goalkeeper is that good that we can afford to be open in transition. You know what I'm saying? With the strength and speed of Konate and Van Dijk, it is genuinely frightening for attackers.
Yeah, it's good.
You know what I'm saying?
And it's so strong as well.
So do you know what I'm saying? So like they're at the point where they're good enough to not have a destroyer in front of them and still brick wall settings. I just think that with a destroyer, and I think that is going to have to be Endo for now. I think with a destroyer, it shores things up even more. But when we had our destroyer in Fabinho, we had 2 big boy goal scorers. We only have 1 big boy goal scorers, and I think the other goals are kind of spread amongst Jota, Diaz, Nunez, and whatnot, which is still fine. Different doesn't always mean worse. This is just different. My preference is a destroyer because the biggest success I've seen under Liverpool is when we've had a destroyer. Whenever we've gone for a ball playing DM in Thiago, it's not really worked the same. It's not really worked because we've been hurt in transition and we've drawn games that have inevitably cost us the 1 point that we missed, that we've needed, or you know what I'm saying, or the one time where we probably conceded a goal in the Champions League. There's certain goals I've seen us concede where I just feel like a destroyer would have been the better option, and to go with the unbeaten sort of thing rather than to blitz teams, because you can't blitz every team. You can't onslaught Man City. They will play through you.
Yeah.
On certain days, on Arsenal's good days, you can't blitz Arsenal. You can't blitz them. They have Rice and Saliba and Gabriel. So if you fuck up your onslaught, they will sting you. And those teams are good enough to sit back and low block. Because remember, Liverpool still struggle. I think a lot of Premier League teams struggle with low blocks this season. A lot of teams have struggled against low blocks. The most creative teams. So that's why I feel like I still think we need a 6. But we love this McAllister now. But imagine McAllister actually played his left 8 position. We still ain't even seen that.
Yeah.
We still ain't even seen that. So yeah, but just to go back to obviously the Chelsea pivot thing, I think the midfield, and it's scary to say that they need to go and buy more, but I think the manager needs to change. I think you have to, as I said, the perfect example of seeing Basuma of 2022 to Basuma in 2023. You're looking at 2 different players. You're actually it's the easiest comparison to make. Go and get a manager. If you have bought players that pop triangles, go buy a manager that pops triangles.
That's the point I'm saying. That's the point I'm saying. That's why I didn't want to be too hard on Enzo. I feel like under the right manager, he will come good. In fact, I think all of those players will come good. But you have to find the right system. And like Postecoglou, and I look at my team, Spurs, and if someone told me Emerson Royale could be used as a utility man, your go-to when you need help, because he has been one of our best players this season in terms of he's covered us at left back, he's covered us at right back, he's covered us at centre back. Bro, that's not easy. You play ball. Covering 3 different positions like that is not a joke. Not many people can do that. And he's done it pretty well. We've got wins, we've held draws. You know, maybe we ain't gone on to do, but we've also missed a lot of things in the kind of middle of the park. But the fact that he's getting a tune out of these boys, even the way that we play the inverted game, Poro, your doggy, them man are pretty much number 10s, playing from the back. It's coaching, bro.
Are you talking about when Højbjerg was covering? Or Skip?
Yeah. And your doggy and Poro, they fly forward. But so for me, Højbjerg, he's doing a job. He's getting a tune. And that's when you are a Prem manager, when you're a world-class manager, that's what is expected. You get a tune of what you got. There's no excuse.
But that's it. No one's asking Poch to win the league. Do you know what I'm saying? Even though after spending a billion, I think all of us would be expected to win the league. No one's actually asking Poch to go and win the league. You know what I'm saying? We're asking you to show us something.
Yeah.
Show us that you can get a tune out of certain players. And right now, the only player I can see him getting a tune out of is Cole Palmer. And is that down to management or is that down to his individual quality of just being as good as he is?
Yeah, it's a good question.
You know what I'm saying? Because most men that come from Pep have got that je ne sais quoi anyway. Most men have got that.
He's legit. If you're in City, you're legit.
You know what I'm saying? So this is where I look at Chelsea and I go, and I do agree with their fan base, and go, the manager does need to pull his socks up. He obviously got his praise when he started playing the wing backs again, played chill where he was supposed to be. Obviously Gusto's been injured and whatnot, so you know he's not ready to start yet. And obviously Nkunku's coming in probably back as the false nine and whatnot. But we have seen players in their right profiles, and you see one all right game, and then the others are just nothing's moving the needle. No one moves the needle at Chelsea, apart from Cole Palmer. No one moves the needle. You know,
100.
I feel like the job I'm seeing man do, like, and I don't even want to do the whole Caicedo Enzo thing again. But like, you could have bought anyone to look the way they're looking. You actually could have gone and got anyone, any old DM, to do that. We bought Endo, and I asked fans, who's been better this season, Endo or Caicedo? I actually think Caicedo's been better than him, but it's actually a conversation.
Yeah.
The fact that that's a conversation is wild.
Yeah. 100.
So that's what I mean. Where Chelsea could have got any old, I don't know, Seko, what's my man that plays DM that missed the penalty in Aqua? Any old DM, bro.
Oh yeah.
You know any old DM, that's any old like what's Bakayoko?
Yeah.
Like any of them, man.
It would have made no difference.
Any of these guys, bro, and it would have been fine. So
yeah, it's true.
It's just I don't know. That's the way I see it. So I think I will ask the chat now, and we'll just see. I won't put a poll in, but just pop in the chat now, and Chelsea fans especially, just type tactics or players. I don't want to say both. If you had to put it on one, what would you play more? Because we know it's both, but which one would you lean it on more, the players or the tactics? I want to see that in the chat. And while you guys are doing that,
I've already told you, I just don't think that combination works. I don't think those players work together. So I would say it's the players. Their players individually are not bad. Sorry, I'm answering it. I think it's more that those players can't fit together, man. It just doesn't. I wouldn't have all of those players in one squad. I wouldn't be happy with it. It'd make me uncomfortable. Remember, football was about balance. Yeah. Remember, Monts, people were scratching their head when you bought Robertson. They were like, why are you bringing in Robertson from Hull? Like, why? Klopp knew about balance. Do you get what I'm saying? It's about balance. You don't always need names. You need 2 or 3 names, and then you need flair, you need grafters, and you need intelligent players. You know, when I'm having talks with my bedrooms, one of the things they talk about is Roy Keane. Probably not the most gifted of footballers, but the guy was aggressive and he had a brain. That's what made him a top baller. And that's what you need in a squad. And I feel like when I look at United and I look at Chelsea, they don't have that. It's just a bit of a mishmash. I don't know. It doesn't make sense to me, and I don't know why. Whereas Tottenham, you can see that we've got a mix. We got flair, we got brains, and we got hard working. And it works very, very well. You guys have got the same thing. Arsenal, dare I say, have the same thing. And Aston Villa, they have that. And dare I say, Newcastle have that. Newcastle, I noticed they're not sourcing the way they were sourcing last year. But when Newcastle had all their players fit, they had that concoction. And that is what's missing with Chelsea. So I hear what you're saying about players and tactics, but the truth is all of them players cannot be together. You can keep some, and then you got to bring in the graft. You got to bring the hard-working players. I used to talk about the likes of Lewis Dunk. Do you know what I mean? Back in the day, you know, the Brighton defender and Burn. These guys, these are workhorses. You need workhorses in there, and they just look a bit soft.
That's why I say I wouldn't. If I was a Chelsea fan, I wouldn't want to sell Gallagher. No, I wouldn't want him as my starting bad boy, heart of my midfield. But you need Gallagher's in your team. You need man that will just run. That will actually. You need a man in your team where.
But he's not a main player yet. He's not a main player for a top six.
You need Hendersons. You need Gallagher's. You need them. You need them, man. Because if you tell a man, if you're a gaffer and you say, "Yo, I need you to run. I need you to run 100. I need you to run 1,000 kilometers," and they just do it. Them man won't even question it. They want to just go do it. They'll just go and do it, and they'll come back with no shoes left on because it's bun up their feet. They'll just do it for you, bro. Like, you need those guys in your team. You need, man. It's not every day tech man, this, tech man, that. Because, bro, eventually tech man's gonna run into a brute. You're gonna run into a brute who's gonna stud down your Achilles. And it's a long day. He's gonna reduce. He's gonna give you the odd reducer. You're gonna get clamped early doors, and you're not gonna want to flick your hair up and play Troy Bolton pretty football no more.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. But listen, people, big up. There's still 350 people in the house right now, big up. Make sure you guys are liking the video. How many likes are we on right now? Let me just double check how many likes we're on, because I know the likes have been stingy recently. On YouTube, we're on 124 likes.
Month, are we allowed to? We don't invite people on shows, do we? Because somebody made a very interesting comment about us, and I'm thinking, I think he's smoking bush, or he's actually the game from the US. Either way, I think I'd like to hear him out. He's donkey. He says listening to these two talk about football is like listening to these two crackheads talk about economics. Is he sure about that?
I don't know, but the game. You've clearly been here for 42 minutes and 35 seconds. So thank you for your viewership. And if you like listening to crackheads, then if that's your thing, then you can stay here if you like. We have our opinions and you have yours. Maybe rather than insulting our opinions, why don't you say your opinions and say what you agree with and disagree with, and we can turn that into a conversation. You know what I'm saying? We can turn that into a conversation. Maybe the game's a Chelsea fan and he wants to talk about economics because he can't talk about football. Who knows?
Yeah.
Who knows that? Who knows?
Probably some sort of university student at a university or something. But yeah, moving on. I want to talk about my team quickly. Tottenham.
Let's move on.
We wrap up. For me, it's just a pleasure. You know, you're talking about Chelsea, and then we're looking at we're looking at the other spectrum. And let's be real. When the season started, if Tottenham was in Chelsea's position, nobody would be surprised. We'd be saying, well, it's Postecoglou. He's not that experienced. Rare. He's doing a rebuild. Postecoglou has got Tottenham 3 points behind City and Arsenal. And we're not giving this brother enough respect. What he's done with the man them out. I've got people trying to tell me that Tottenham are going to fall off when we got our best players coming back. Dare I say it, Werner, I weren't happy with him, but my man's already got 3 assists. Who's doing that with him?
I said to man, don't sleep on Werner. I said he's gonna be a nuisance.
It's not great.
No, it's not.
He's not a Russell Crowe in Gladiator where he's gonna go bish bashing. He don't want to get touched. There's a thing about him being touched by other players, but if he gets the ball and he gets a bit of space, he will find man. Maddison is back. Brennan Johnson, I have to say, big up to you. I know you heard me call you out and call you a coward. when I called you a coward, I was really just saying I need you to get stuck in. You got to learn to ride challenges, and I saw him do that yesterday, bro. It's looking long for the league, bro. Tottenham, I can't wait till we play you lot again at your gaff. If we got our full squad, I think Tottenham's the only team that can beat Liverpool, you know. Straight. I really do. I think with our full squad, we can go toe-to-toe with you, man. Because when I'm looking at your back line, our back line's just as good. Alisson, Vicario, Van Dijk, Van der Ven, Romero, Canate, Porro, Trent, Udogie, whoever you got left back. Come on, bro. Then midfield, I would actually say Basuma, Bentancur, and Maddison is slightly better than your midfield three. And then Son is equivalent to Salah. I would say Richarlison is equivalent to
Nunes.
Diaz. Because we're not comparing.
Nunes, I thought you would have said Nunes because of the finishing. Like
No, Nunes is a madman. Like Nunes is just misses. All right. We can't compare. And I would say Jota and Kulusevski. People think I'm bantering. I'm not bantering. Tottenham need to be respected, bro. And I think I just want to hear from your opinion, from an outside looking in. Should teams be showing Spurs more respect? We're not going to do the kind of. But I really do think there's something there with Spurs.
Spurs should definitely be getting more respect. I've always said that once you guys get your team back, you can be as good as anyone. I just think that to fast track yourself to Liverpool at the moment is a step too far. But to put yourself in the top 3, top 4, and because the top 3, top 4 isn't like a big gap, it's very condensed. City, Arsenal, Liverpool is very condensed right now. So to be in that, to add Tottenham to that, it is respect in itself. It is respect because how many points separate Man City and Liverpool? 5. And Arsenal are in between. So if you was to put Tottenham there, that is respect, bro. That means you're within 5 points in the league, really, if we're putting you in there, because I put you in there when your whole team's fit.
Yeah.
I still think your drop-off is a bit too big. I still think your drop-off's a bit mad when you start to miss players, innit? Like, what I'd say with the difference between our squad stage is that we have no Salah, no Trent, no Robbo, and we just put 4 past Chelsea.
Yeah, that is scary.
We put Arsenal in the split. At their gaff. People forget we just put Arsenal in the split. We've lost 1 game in 34. You know what I'm saying? And people were saying that. Do you know what? And when I say people were saying, I understood this, by the way. I didn't disagree with it. People were saying, let's not act like Salah and these men have been away for 5 months and you men have been doing this. You know what I'm saying? Let's give it a few more games and see what you man are really made of about the Trents, the Robbos, and the Salahs. Let's see what you man are really made of.
Yeah, you man are not a joke.
The last 4 games and that I've seen, and I was worried, bro. You know me, I'm a very balanced. I'd say I'm quite balanced as a Liverpool fan. I get excited when we win, and I'm emotional when we lose. But when we're in the morning after we had some time to think about it, bro, I feel like people can agree or disagree whether they think I'm balanced or not. But
Jota's a madman.
I wasn't sure how the front 4 were going to be without Salah, and even without Trent. I wasn't even sure that our main creator and our main goal scorer. I'm thinking, Brass. I mean, yo, man, we could easily 1-2 losses can put us in 3rd. Like that's how close it is right now. We haven't even slowed down. If anything, I'm looking at our back line and I go, you see Joe Gomez left back. Am I even dashing Robbo back in the team? Like, am I really dashing man back in?
He's doing bits.
I'm looking at Bradley. Of course, we're going to put Trent back in because he's a world-class player. I'm looking at Bradley and going, but if Trent was injured for longer, would I even be like, oh, no, this is a mad thing? This is a mad thing, man. Yeah. Would I really dash Trent?
It's good. It's good. But the only thing that you guys haven't had, though, and it happens every season, because people like to remind me about, there's patterns to this football thing. Liverpool always have a drop-off moment in a season, and you haven't had yours yet. And the key is, when you have your drop-off, how far do you drop?
Yeah,
because we've all had it. You're the only one who haven't had it yet.
We have had wobbles, like when we drew to Luton and that. We haven't had a drop, but we've had wobbles.
Yeah, you had a wobble, but there's a drop-off coming.
Because remember, we drew to Luton and we lost to you.
Yeah,
and there might have been a win in between there, but we did drop. We dropped a few, and we also, even though we won the games before that, we were conceding first at Wolves. We were poor in the first half. I look at, to be fair, it was only those few games, to be fair, but that was when Curtis Jones got the red card. And I say we've got a good squad right now.
You have, but the drop off will come, is what I'm trying to say. And my question is, will Liverpool hang in there?
I think that might come at the business end of the season because we're pushing for all 4 trophies. I think if we'd gone out of the Europa League and we'd gone out of the FA Cup and we was just in the final, I reckon the league, Liverpool have a lot, even more. We're in more of a powerful spot to go.
So why don't you just give up? Why are you guys going for all 4? It don't make sense. Why don't you just drop off the Carabao Cup, lock off the FA Cup, focus on the league and the Champions League? I mean, and even dust the Europa League, to be honest, and just focus on the league and win it.
Because I feel like right now we're in a great spot for all 4, and we haven't showed. The wobble hasn't come yet. Do you know what I'm saying? The wobble hasn't come, and I know it's good to think. It's good to think actively and not passively. But when you're a footballer and in an institution, bro, you always want to win everything. And if you're looking at, we've got a decent draw in the FA Cup. We've got luck. We've got the decent draw. You know what I'm saying? Tottenham are out of the FA Cup. Arsenal are out of the FA Cup. Those are 2 teams where I looked at and went, "Oh, let me try and avoid them." You want to try and avoid the top 6 teams in the cup competition. You know what I'm saying? You want to try and get the easier run, so you can rotate.
It'll be you and City in the final.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. You want to do that so you can rotate. You know what I'm saying? Because if you go and play Arsenal, you man fielded your first team. You man then had to go back out because you drew City. You had to back out your first team. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We don't have time for that. I don't have time to back out my first team in the FA Cup 4th round. I don't have time for it. I don't have time.
It was ridiculous.
Players good for the weekend. Good for the weekend. You know what I'm saying? So if I get like a Slavia Prague in the round of 16, let me run Bradley and that. Let me run them, man. Let me do that. You know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to go midweek. Midweek, I got Leverkusen. Sunday, I got Man City. Midweek, I'm facing Chelsea in the final. Sunday, I got Spurs. And then midweek again, I've got the second leg of Leverkusen. Oh, that's all dead, G. It's
long. But what I will say to you though is that I think this season is not as clear cut as people like to think it is. I think we've seen that. I think there's a lot of surprises, and I think an unknown could snatch it because I feel like Liverpool are focusing on too many trophies at the moment. And remember what happened the last time you did this. The last time you did this, you ended up with just the FA Cup and Carabao Cup. And I'm not going to lie to you that, we don't even talk about it. We don't even talk about
but you know what it is?
You got to 4 finals in that one season, pretty much.
Context. It did go to the last day, and the Champions League final, we battered Real Madrid and we should have won. So I feel like, and for me, I feel like we slowed down a bit. Like we tripped over the finish line in that Premier League. Like we just about beat Wolves final day. Last kick of the game from Salah. Simply because the players were breaking down. They played so many games. As good as we were better than we were then than we are now. In that pod chasing season, we were better than now. This is more of a younger, more fresh squad, but that squad had experience. That squad had everything in it. You know what I'm saying? But I think there are definitely twists and turns. I look at the return of Maddison. We had a conversation about Solanke and obviously the Spurs links with Solanke the other day, and I'm pretty sure you saw when those rumors came through about the 50 million move that you guys are looking at. And he's not better than Richarlison. I made the point as a rival, and no one really agreed with me on the panel. I made the point, and I just said, "Is Solanke that much better than Richarlison for you man to be waxing 50 mil? Like I've just seen you man spend the same money on Brennan Johnson, and he's crap."
Bravo. Thank you, bro.
And and again, as I said, I've seen you man spend 50 million on Brennan Johnson. And me, I think Brennan Johnson's rubbish in it. I think he's rubbish. I think you lot can go and get so much better.
He's a coward.
You know what I'm saying? I don't think he's completely shit, but his end product is some of the man will talk about Werner's end product to make this an internet thing. Have you man seen Brennan Johnson's end product? Werner is actually an issue. Defenders don't want to play against Werner, bro. They don't. Call him crap. They don't want to play against him. So it's not the worst thing in the world. He's not great, but it's not the worst. But look at Brendan Johnson, bro. I don't even flinch. Well done, you got his goal.
Brendan Johnson, the problem he is, sorry, my bro, is just he just doesn't want the battle. And one thing I like about Jota, if you look at Jota's goal yesterday, the first goal, he got stuck in. He was ready to have his leg chopped off, kicked in the shins to fight for that ball in. Johnson won't do that. Johnson pulls out. He keeps pulling out. And that's what pisses off the Spurs faithful. It's like, nah, put your leg in there or make that run. Yeah, we know that, you know what I mean? But that football is contact. You will get contact, but also you got to anticipate the opportunity. But he's like, rah, they might hurt me. They might hit my leg. Oh, let me just pull back. And that's an opportunity missed.
Because guess what, bro? The centre-back might pull out. How about that pause? You know what I'm saying? You might go full-blooded and then you might get the ball simply because they might pull out. You know what I'm saying? When you go full-blooded, sometimes the other player don't want it, you know? And people don't actually think, oh, right. You know what I'm saying? They're still scared about getting hurt. They're not thinking about what it could do to benefit them. Maybe the defender might not fancy that 50-50 with you because you're quicker than them. They might not want to foul you, but because you pulled out, then our defender gets there first. Yeah. That can even end up in a fast break. You can even go and concede. 100. You know what I'm saying? So I'll look at so just going back to the striker thing, like when people are saying yes, Solanke or no Solanke, I'm like, bro, like Solanke and Richarlison, there's like two GAs difference, and Richarlison played 800 less minutes. What is then a 50 million investment in someone? I'm confused here.
I'm so glad you spotted that, because for me, Richarlison, I knew he was going to cook. A lot of Tottenham fans wanted him out. I said, give him time under this manager. Man's got 8 goals, bro. That's respectable. And Arsenal wished Nketiah had 8 goals. Arsenal wished Jesus had 8 goals at this stage in the season. So we know already that Richarlison's going to be doing double figures. For sure, Richarlison's going to get 13, 14 goals this season, which is a respectable return, in my opinion, for someone that you weren't expecting many goals from.
I said he done it for Everton. People actually don't know this. He scored 14 league goals for Everton twice.
Yeah.
On 2 occasions, so it wasn't a fluke.
Yeah, he can do it.
My thing is that could you go and get are there better strikers out there than Richarlison? Yes, there are. But
we're going to spend the money.
But if a man is performing, what he's performing, my hot take is that he was even performing when he was on the left at the start before his surgery. But people act like he wasn't. I said to Sean, Richarlison was cooking on the left with 4 assists before his surgery. And he's like, no, he wasn't. No, he wasn't cooking. Bro, I put him on fraud watch, so I was watching him very carefully. I was like, his decision-making's got a lot better out on that left side when Son went up top for a little bit. When he had this cameo up top, I was like, this is looking like it works. Like, Maddison comes in, plays the ball in between the 2 centre-backs. Richarlison comes in and squares it. Son taps it in. I saw that goal like 5 times. I saw it twice against Liverpool. One of them was offside, one was scored. And I see in other games as well. I was like, wow, it's wicked. Saw it against Arsenal. So I've seen a few of those where Maddison plays the inside pass, and it's that same goal. And Richarlison was just always involved in it. He's always the one to square it. So okay. Right. So he's becoming more creative and he's chipping him the goals. For me, is he clinical enough? No, he's not. But 8 goals with 1,000 minutes played,
it's respectable.
They'll hype up Nunes for that, but they'll just Richarlison for it. So no one's calling him Harry Kane, but he's doing what he's doing. He's got 8
so my last question, because I know we got to wrap up in the next 2 minutes. I said earlier that I think if there was to be a surprise this season, and what I mean by the surprise is that Liverpool or City don't win the league for whatever thing. Because, bro, and I need you to understand why I keep labouring this point. City's already lost 3 games and there's more to come. I'm not prepared to accept that Man City cannot win, that Man City won't lose any more games this season. Arsenal still got a couple more defeats in them. And Liverpool, on average, lose about 3 to 4 games in the season. So my question to you is, if you have your slip up, which I think will come, could there be a dark horse in this? Because a lot of people want to kind of do, and I can see the chat, people want to do the obvious thing. But I don't think this season's that obvious, bro. I really don't.
I just don't think. You have 1 game a week, so I can see you putting a run of games together. But can you put a run of games together like the other 3? Yeah, but how fit do you stay? That's the thing.
Fit.
Me personally, I can't put you in there. I don't think, for me, I think if you didn't have the whole of injuries, I think you'd be there with everyone. I honestly think Spurs would be there. And if you go look back at my content, I've been saying this all season. But football is football, and this stuff happens, and you did get your injuries, and it did happen, and that's football. And you rarely stay fit for a season anyway, and that's why you need a squad. I still think you're one talisman injury away from maybe going 3 games or 2 games without a win, and unfortunately, that you see when that happens, you do tend to trickle down the table a little bit. You know what I'm saying? So. Whereas City and Liverpool and Arsenal could probably go on 3 games and unbeaten, maybe more so City and Liverpool. Spurs might have 2 draws in there and win. And those 4 points dropped can see City go zing, Liverpool zing, and in 2 weeks, now the gap's gone from
tight, bro. It's so tight.
It's so, you know what I'm saying? The swings and roundabouts. Like Arsenal go beat us on the weekend. City go zing, and it's like now City and Liverpool are on the same points. Like, you know, Arsenal are 2 points behind Liverpool. You know what I'm saying? And you got to remember, a lot of teams have to go to the lane in the last 5 games of the season. A lot of teams have to go to the lane. A lot of teams.
Yeah, so, exactly. Arsenal need to come over and City need to come over. In fact, pretty much all the big guns, apart from you guys, we got to come to you, which is a bad one. But yeah, look, I think it's going to be interesting, man. I think there's going to be plenty of twists and turns, you know. I think we'll be surprised. It's so congested up there, and I think... Yeah, I, you know, I've said it before and I'll say it again. Spurs will finish above Arsenal. I think you said it as well, that Spurs will finish above Arsenal. And I think it's going to be, I do think we're going to eat up some ground now with the players, with the man them coming back. I really do think in the next couple of weeks, you might see that Spurs and Liverpool, the point difference is 8 points at the moment, but I can see that going down to about 3 or 4.
We'll have to see. We'll have to see. I think for now, Liverpool, if we play the way we played today against Arsenal, boy oh boy. But the Emirates,
I just want you to smash these guys up. Yeah, I need you man to smash Arsenal this weekend. Smash them.
We won't smash them. I think we should get the win. I believe in the boys to get the win in it. I just think that we won't smash them because the way that we beat them at the Emirates in the Cup, you can't be naive to let that. You can't be that naive. You know what I'm saying? But that's that conversation's for another day. And obviously, I think the one team we haven't mentioned is obviously Man City. KDB's cooking again.
Yeah, he's doing what he's
doing.
And
if he stays fit, this is why I can't say for 100 Liverpool winning the league because KDB exists. If KDB gets injured again, I think City have their little, I think the wobbles come back. I think they will. Because remember, John Stones is back now as well. No one's really talking about it. John Stones is back as well.
Do you know what? I think City is there for the taking, you know. I think defensive, there's something not quite right with them. I get it. KDB
they've wobbled. Defensively, they've been sus, innit?
Even when they beat Spurs in the FA Cup, people were waxing lyrical, shaking their bum. I was like, this is crap. They've got their full team. This Tottenham's missing 3 of our bad men. We're missing 3 of our bad men from the pitch. In fact, we're missing 4.
They didn't. Yeah, I know. But remember, Haaland is a game changer. Let's not like Haaland. Let's not remove context for City because City is City. But what I would say,
I've seen Tottenham.
I'm not even on about their attack. City are always going to score goals, Haaland or no Haaland in it. Yeah, they'll score more goals if Haaland, but they're always going to score goals. I'm on about defensively, bro. Them man have looked spooky at times in it. Even the goal they even conceded at the end yesterday. They shouldn't be conceding to Burnley.
Yeah,
they shouldn't be conceding, but in my opinion. So, you know, City for me, if they want to keep moving forward, they can't keep outscoring, man. They're gonna have to shore up that defense, and maybe John Stones is the man to do that. Obviously, Kyle Walker's going through whatever he's going through at the moment, so I know he didn't play yesterday, so that's now another weakness in their right back position. Like, you know, unfortunately, every time I play City, we have to deal with Kyle Walker. I would have loved to play City without Kyle Walker, but
we had to deal with him. Yeah.
So,
but let's see what won. Let's see what happens this weekend.
We'll see. But listen, people, it's been another episode. Obviously, Never a Foul. Make sure you guys subscribe to Deji Spurs. TV as well down. You can see it's in the description below. Make sure you go subscribe to Big Sixpence as well. We're on the way to 9K, so let's make 8K, so let's make that happen. And of course, obviously, we got Kaz's match reaction. That's on the video section, about 9 minutes as well. So make sure you go and watch that. Make sure you go watch my match reaction. It's about 9 minutes as well over on the video section. Smash the like button.
Big up, everybody. Big up.
It's free and it's down there. So again, take care, people. We even have a super chat from the boss. Sorry about that, Boris. I just missed that actually. Big up, Mons. What's the Spurs fan been smoking? Big up the boss every time, man. I do know him. He's
big up the boss, mate. Hey, the boss. Let me just say, we're clipping this little bit. If Tottenham eat up the ground on Liverpool, Man City, just know man's calling you out. So just be ready, yeah? Just make sure you don't go hiding.
You heard it here first, man. But listen, people, take care. And we will see you soon. A little bit later on. We'll see you soon. Take care, man.